Now, I talk about all the time that deer herds are not built during the summer. They're not built during the spring. High quality QDM herds, whatever you want to call it, are built during the fall. They're built during hunting season. That's your number one time to attract, hold, protect, advance bucks to the next age class, to work on sex ratios, to work on populations that you want in balance with the habitat. That all takes place during the fall. And for that, your habitat activities need to be fall slanted. For example, what I'm talking about right now in this video is the difference between herbaceous plant growth, that is for the late spring, summertime, early fall, and then hardwood regeneration and browse. And when I'm referring to hardwood regeneration and browse, woody browse, I'm referring to roughage. And what I would say that falls under that class of roughage is even acorns, beech nuts, chestnuts, anything that is hard for a deer to digest and is in their bedding areas and serves to build and hold and produce their fall, not only attraction, but the required browse needs that they need back in their bedding areas and they need on a daily basis during the daylight. This herbaceous growth that's surrounding me, doesn't matter if it's ragweed or goldenrod, whatever it might be, and a little bit bits of clover coming in, all the green growth that you see on the ground here is great for the summertime, but we're in an area that's back in a buck bedding area, near buck bedding. In fact, I shot 2 bucks over here, 60, 70 yards. Rich shot 2 bucks over here, 50 yards. This is our wheelhouse. I've shot 7 bucks in this location. I take that back, 5 bucks in this location in 8 years, 2 bucks down on the bottom area. But this area right here has produced a lot of bucks, 10 bucks over the last 5 years between Rich and I. And so this is an example where the sebaceous growth, we could have a prescribed burn up here, for example. We could hack and squirt all these undesirables, the aspen, the box elder, the ash, the elm. We could get rid of this stuff and try to produce this herbaceous growth, but for what reason? This herbaceous growth is great for the summertime, but it is all gone during the hunting season. It all dies during the hunting season. It adds little to no value during the hunting season. Again, going back to great deer herds are built during the fall. During the summer months in the north half of the country, this is not my own information. You can look it up online. I had a conversation with John Azoga years ago about this, but there's probably 5 times more food that whitetails need in the north half of the country in their bedding areas, in their habitat during the summertime than they can actually use and need. So when you're building, if you're trying to build anything you build for food during the summertime, I'm not saying it doesn't have a 1 or 2% impact on the local herd, because that's all it's going to be, if any at all, in most areas. We couldn't actually create more habitat for deer during the summertime. They have alfalfa and soybeans in every direction, and so that's what supplies the high quality value of their daily diet. And let's say, for example, that we made a lot of herbaceous growth up here that doesn't even rival or come close to alfalfa and soybeans down in the ag fields in all directions, and we some way held deer on this property up in these bedding areas during the summertime. We would actually be doing a disservice to them, because this value right here does not rival the soybeans and alfalfa down in those ag fields. So if we pulled them into this for some reason, we had a clover field up here, an alfalfa field, and we tried to cram those deer in here, we would actually be doing them a disservice. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. I know that's a hard pill to swallow. But if you're producing herbaceous growth, and that doesn't matter if it's clover, alfalfa, even soybeans you can throw into the mix, are you really helping the herd? The time of leniency in the deer woods, and the time when deer need, and when it's the habitat's lean, when there's really not a lot of growth in most areas, and you can look at a lot of hardwood settings. Even in Buffalo County, I see a lot of hardwood surrounded by ag. Those hardwoods don't produce a lot of browse, and for that, they don't produce a lot of cover. And if there's no browse or cover, why are the deer going to be there? What kind of influence do you really have on the local herd when it comes to creating a quality herd that's in balance with the habitat for ultimately a quality hunt? Think about it. This is a box elder tree right here. This is not a glamour tree, but all these stems around this box elder tree down at this base have been nipped and eaten during the winter time. This is an incredible fall winter browse species. The aspen around here, great fall winter browse. Basswood, soft maple. Again, it goes back to what I talk about all the time. The lower the value timber value that you have on your land, the higher the value for wildlife. Think of things in terms of summer versus fall, spring versus winter. Focus on those times where the habitat value is limited on your land. It's not during the spring or summer. So if all your activities, and I look and I pick on, I see areas where they'll actually hack and squirt this tree right here, and then they'll have a controlled burn in this area if this is all box elder. They produce a lot of herbaceous growth. There's pictures on Instagram, there's great social media shots, maybe some videos created about that. But in the end, they're not really helping any of the whitetails or the local wildlife. Rabbits need this type of cover, the regeneration, briars, hardwood regeneration, shrubs that'll come up for the fall and winter months. And hey, guess what? That's at a time when you can influence the deer herd the most. So if you're killing this to get this, that's a bad thing when it comes to whitetails. You're missing the critical times of habitat needs for the whitetails, wildlife, and other critters, because fall and winter is a time of critical need for habitat and food in the whitetail and wildlife world, not spring and summer. Think about your activities. That could apply to any activities, any of your timbering activities, your replanting activities, anything that you do. You have to plug the lowest hole in the bucket first in anything you do in life. And when you have whitetails that need critical habitat in fall and winter, then you need to plug that hole first. That's why I look at a green base when it comes to food plot forage, for example. If you have greens that can supply what the deer need all hunting season long, then you can work on corn. If your corn and your greens are full and they last all the way into the early season, then you can work on your bean plantings for that third portion of the triangle right up here, corn in the middle, and then the green base down the back. We're getting hammered with gnats, by the way, so I'm sorry about all the hand movements, but I'm itching all over right now. It's that time of year. That all goes back to plugging the hole in the habitat bucket for whitetail and wildlife. That hole's in fall and winter. If you don't have that hole plugged first, you're not doing a good job on your land for the whitetails and wildlife, just because you have herbaceous growth, a lot of herbaceous growth during the summertime. That does nothing for the deer herd typically during the fall and winter months. Focus on this box elder, some of the aspen, birch, basswood, soft maple, some of that quote junk timber that actually helps a deer herd in the fall and winter at a time when they need it the most. Box elder, not a glamour tree, but great for your whitetails, great for your local wildlife with the stems per acre it can produce in the side cover. And by the way, great for your hunt. I hope you like this channel. I hope you subscribed. This is all about, the only thing I'm trying to do with this channel is help you. I have a lot of experience going to client properties, almost 900 now. That's not only 900 food plot programs that I've actually designed and created for clients, but 900 current food plots that I've looked at and analyzed for how they relate to your property. Close to 900 bedding areas, hinge cut areas, open timber, timber stand improvement projects, all as it relates to producing the highest quality whitetail and wildlife properties that you can create. And hey, let's face it, on a small parcel, you don't have a lot of room for mistakes, and that's what this channel is about, eliminating your mistakes based on a lot of experience and time that you can never find on your own. I hope it helps. Please subscribe, and I love your comments too.